Peace and greetings, Macadine family and listening audience. Hoping all is well with you. Excuse the delay on being on time because when you're not on time, you can lose your life. So please pardon me for not being on at exactly 6 o'clock. But yesterday, I had inadvertently and unplannedly went into a subject matter just from the hip, so to speak, and I really didn't go into it in depth like I wanted to. And I actually had started on the subject that I talked about yesterday. Spoke on development maybe about 4 months ago when I was talking about the symbol of the Sphinx and what the Sphinx represented. Of course, representing man, and how the Sphinx, like man, is stuck on 6. The Sphinx's head is 66 feet in its circular circumference measurement. Is 240 feet in height. 2 and 4 is 6. Then its feet, the long extending feet of the Sphinx, is 150 feet. That 1 and 5 is 6. Then you have the toes, but the toes are 8, which I'm going to get into a little bit later because we're dealing with the 6-8 binary relationship that man has, the sun has, and the pyramid has, which is all one, because the son of man is the sun and the son is the son of man. It's all one. And the pyramid, the last one specifically, is talking about man himself. But it's a relationship between the Sphinx, who starts off on all 4s, and then on 2s, and then on 3s. That's a man. And I was saying that there's a journey from the Sphinx. It's a journey that we got to take, that last 6 we got to do on our own. And I'm going to get back to that. But like man who comes out of the earth. Remember yesterday I was telling you that we're stuck on 6s because we come out of an earth that is stuck on 6s. Well, that earth is, once again, 6 sectillion tons, 24,896 miles in circumference, 7,000 1,037 and 1/3 miles per hour. And if you add all those numbers up, you get 15, and 1 and 5 once again is 6. See, we come out of this earth, so we're stuck on 6 to a certain degree. But I didn't cover how the sun is also stuck on the 6 and the 8. And we're all related. The sun, man, and that pyramid. And pyra means fire, so that's a sun too. So the sun has a density of 150 G/cm3 at its center, which is a 6. 150 G/cms, that's 6. A temperature of 15 million kelvins, that's a 6. And the sun has 6 layers. The core, the radiative zone, the convective zone, the chromosphere, the photosphere, and the corona. 6 layers. Then you have where, since the sun has been in this creation and rotation for, some say 12 billion, some say 14 billion, I don't know the actual time it's been in the heavens, so to speak. However, since it's been in its galaxy, it has rotated 18 times, which is 6, 6, 6. Now, going back to man, Man is made up of the carbon atom, which is 6. And as I was telling you yesterday, how in Genesis 1:26, it talks about man. All this is nothing but symbolic science. Now let us get, we talked about the sixes. Now let's talk about the binary relationship. How the sun has its eights. Now if you look at the sun is 853,000 miles in diameter. You got 2 eights right there. You got the 8, and then you got 5, 3. That's another 8. So you got 2 eights. Now the sun travels in its own orbit, and it travels counterclockwise every 35 days. That's another 8. The sun fuses hydrogen into helium at a rate of 620 tons speed of 800,000 miles, or 800,000 kilometers a second. It's a bad man. That's a bad man. But it's us. The sun is us. Sun is us. Now, man is born. Let's check out us. We're born. Like I told you, we came out of these sixes, but we got some eights to go along with those sixes to take us through this journey. Now, when a boy or a human being period is born, the head size of the average human being is 350 grams. That's an 8. We have 8 systems in our body that we're born with. The circulatory, the immune, the skeletal, the respiratory, the muscular, the endocrine, the digestive, and the respiratory systems. We have 8 of them. And then we have 206 bones, which is another 8. Then, like I told you yesterday about those 3 verses, those 3 eights, Genesis 26, 126, that's an 8, telling you that you're almighty. You're not no God with a little g, you the almighty, in the image of the almighty. Then the book of John, 14:12. You shall do greater works than that one you've been worshiping. Then you got Philippians 2:6, where it said that is not robbery. It is not robbery to be equal with God. Those 3 verses and everything that I just told you is demonstrating the 6-8 relationship. Then we go to the pyramid. You go to the Sphinx. And across from the Sphinx, you have the last and greatest of pyramids, the pyramid of Khufu. This pyramid is another 6-8 binary symbol. Its angles are at 51.8 degrees. 6 and 8. It was made 26 BC. That's another 8. And it was and the weight of it is 6.2 million tons. Think about all this. Some deep stuff. Deep stuff. Deep stuff. And I'm trying to condense it because you realizing who you are and acting in accordance to who you are is the key to your rise. Simple as that. The key to you being the father that we talk about in chapter 38 of the Maccabean. Deep chapter. And the chapter of the Maccabean is also tied into all of this. Because chapter 38 is dealing with the 3/8. That's what it represents. The 3/8 dealing with the Father. And the Father is who you are. Once you recognize who you really, really are. And once again, act in accordance with that knowledge. Now, out of all the pyramids on the earth, this pyramid, the pyramid of Giza, is the only one that has 8 sides. The only one that has 8 sides. Out of all the pyramids on earth, and all the pyramids, the major pyramids, are connected to the pyramid of Giza. Out of all of them, that's the only one with 8 sides. And like I was telling you, in regards to that binary relationship of us with the 6, our imperfect self, our lower self, uniting with our infinite self, it's amazing that the Sphinx and Giza, Sphinx and the Giza are, number one, 0.6 miles apart. 0.6 miles apart. And according to scientists, from the Sphinx to Giza, it takes 8 minutes to walk from the Sphinx to Giza. Once again, this last phase of our journey, that individual walk that we got to take, is that walk into infinity, the walk into the 8. Then you become the 888, the true and living God, the true Father, who art in heaven while he lived and walked the earth. Because everywhere he goes, he represents heaven. Because he has an illuminated mind. So, back to what I was saying. So it's an 8-minute walk. An 8-minute walk. 6 and 8, the binary relationship that we have to get in tune with. And once again, going back to what I was saying about the sun. Now the sun also, the rays, the light of the sun comes to the earth every 8 minutes. It takes 8 minutes for the sunlight to go from the sun, from itself, to the earth. And at the same rate, on the flip side, it takes 8 minutes for the blood in the human body to go from the head and make a complete circuit to the foot, feet, and back up to the head. So it's all related. But it's, once again, it's commensurate. It is based on the fact that you accept the infinite mindset. See, 2 things the sun does that for us to be successful, we must duplicate and imitate. Number 1, it revolves counterclockwise. Meaning it doesn't follow the sheeple, it doesn't follow the crowd. It marches to the beat of its own drum. Number 2, like I said, it travels at 800,000 kilometers. It's traveling on the 8. And the Sphinx has those 8 toes out because we're supposed to travel in a mindset of God. G-O-G, not God, but God over God. And that's the only way you're going to be completely successful. And I want to go into an example of that infinite mindset that maybe y'all might want to look up when you get a chance. And I'm talking about Father Divine. Father Divine. If y'all don't know nothing about him, look him up. He's an old American icon that a lot of people used to laugh at, but he had the greatest, strongest Christian organization in the history of America, among black people first and foremost. And he influenced millions around the world. And he blew up during the Depression when he was selling meals fit for kings for like 12 cents a plate. However, this man defied all logic, all odds. If you saw Father Divine, I think he was about 5'2", bald headed, with the old school George Jefferson style bald head. Or someone with a more charismatic position or look. Nonetheless, Reverend Ike, Father, what's his name, Sweet Daddy Grace, all these great preachers of Christianity studied under him and tried to follow his methodology of how he moved the people to do what it was he needed and wanted them to do. His greatest success lied on the fact that he called himself Almighty God. That was his mindset. Father Divine. He, in his mind, was the creator of the heavens and the earth, and everything that he wanted and needed was coming to him, and he never took a salary. Directly, that is. But his mindset, the mindset of a true father, that's what we're dealing with. Because you can't have a mindset of a servant. You can't have a mindset of a Christian, of a Muslim bowing down, bowing your ass up in the air, indicating that you're open to be fucked. Bottom line, bowing down, which is against our sovereign nature. Once again, religion only came on the scene because they brutalized and forced the people. They forced Christianity down the throats of every people that are now in acceptance and celebration of it. No, it didn't come that way. They shoved it down the throats of those who didn't want it. They killed, they pillaged, they robbed, all in the name of white Jesus, whom you all still bow down to today, Zeus. So Father Divine, the Father, and it's crazy how, as I study, and I'm learning from the Macadine myself. I know I was in the zone when I wrote this, but I was in prison. I was living the monk life for 6 years, but I wasn't in there masturbating, looking at sex magazines, and wasting my time playing dominoes. I was in the library, figuring out the lies of the enemy. And once I was able to crack the code, voila, here you go. Here you go. So, in the Father, on page 206, dig that 8, I reveal who the Father is, where I say that the proper Faither. It's supposed to be pronounced Faither and not Father because it tells who we really are. We're manifestors. We're those that make things happen when we're in our right mindset. So, at the bottom of page 206, it says, Father Faither is another name for the sovereign, self-reliant man that Emerson spoke about. You know, the Gog. The Gog. That's who we are. That's our identity. And when you don't function in that capacity and mindset, because the mindset of worshiping a God has become a diseased part of human DNA today. Really has. So it's a constant battle. You got our whole DNA system has to be cleansed. Really does. But there it is. Father is a mindset. And Father, by the way, is also a 6-letter word. You know, Father. You know, going from Father into your infinite self. God, Lord of all the worlds. Everything that it says in scriptures about a God, give it to yourself, because that's who it's talking to. Hopefully you got something out of this message, and I'll be speaking to you again tomorrow. How do I get out of here? Salute and peace.